For this batch of disc and that sheet of plywood, the pipes were cut to 142.2 millimeter. And I made a gauging stick that's 141 millimeter. As I assemble these, I can do a rough check to make sure I'm at 141 millimeter spacing. The camera won't let me focus on this, but if I go around here, you can see these notches that I've ground in the pipe. And I made those notches with my flex shaft grinder by just going in there and grinding an indentation evenly spaced around the pipe. When you bring these in, after you put these together, and you stick them in here, if that turns really off like this one is, I may not have gotten that dowel sanded square. You stick these in here, you turn it on, it should run true like this. If that thing is really wobbling back and forth, chances are you've got this dowel in here crooked. Nothing wrong with that. It's real easy just to test these real quick. Make sure that they're going to spin true before you go any further. So out of 10, it appears this one is turning a little bit warped. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to break this off of here, make a new dowel, and start over. I need to find the grain direction. I'll just take a knife. Use a mallet. Pop that right off of there. Now I'll make another dowel, glue it back together. All of these have had the edge rounded over and the surfaces sanded. Ordinarily, the hardware would be in here, but I've run out of hardware, so I'm doing this without. But I have already run one of the machine screws in there to thread that hole. This is a mixture of boiled linseed oil, naphtha, and wipe-on poly. I want to put this on here and avoid getting it down in that pocket for the pipe. Just wipe it on. The linseed oil makes the grain stand out. The wipe-on poly makes it set up hard, and the naphtha makes it dry real quick. I'm going to put enough on there so it can soak into the wood. You don't want any runs in it. I usually let it sit out here for about an hour. It's time to take it in and sand it. It doesn't take long to dry. After these are sanded, it'll be about as smooth as a piece of plastic. And rounding over this edge is important because as your paper comes in, you don't want anything that'll snag on the edge of your music. We don't want anything down in the slot where the pipe goes or on the dowel because we want glue to be able to stick to that. And glue doesn't like sticking to this stuff. Not too long after this dries, you can come in here and start sanding it. And a paper towel to buff it. When you get done, that's nice and smooth. Check your edges, make sure there's nothing there that has escaped our process. Next thing we do is match up the flanges or the disc with the pipe. I use my gauge stick to make sure that it's going to clear. Once I've tried a pair of these discs with a piece of pipe, I try to keep those together. Get some construction adhesive. I spread the adhesive inside the pipe and make sure that those notches inside there are full of construction adhesive. This actually goes pretty quick. It goes a lot faster if you're not shooting a video of it. Get a little more adhesive and spread it on the surface of the dowel. I have another tool I can reach inside here and I just remove that excess adhesive that's pushing out ahead of the pipe. Take a damp cloth, wipe off the edge of that pipe. Take a paper towel and wipe up any excess there might be. You can make sure that pipe is all the way up inside that socket. I keep my finger on top of there and I check at 90 degrees that that's square. And I set that upside down and I let that dry for about 4 hours. When this is sitting like this and the end of the pipe is open, the construction adhesive sets up fairly fast. But when we get ready to do the other side, that pipe is closed in, and I would let that sit for a day or two before I go spin testing it or trying to use it. After that, this is quite a strong assembly. The spools in the first video were the first 3 that I built. I have since made 21 more, and I bring them in here after assembly and I put them on the lathe, give them a spin test. That looks great. That looks better than a lot of the plastic spools. And what looks like wobble here can be color variation, and there's bound to be a little bit of movement. You're just never going to find that perfect piece of plywood. Oh, didn't get that one in there right. Five tested and 5 are good. I spin test every one of these after they're assembled and the glue has dried.